guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and I decided that I wanted to start a vlog. So I'm going to be taking you guys through sort of every day of my week, through my reading progress, sort of what life is like in the I Should Read That household, particularly with some grumpy kitties here. You can see that I'm not quite as put together as usual. It's been an interesting day that was rounded out with us going into town and actually getting a Nintendo Switch. So we've been playing Mario Kart all day, and I'm a little fuzzy-headed right now, but I'm going to be taking a break because I have some books that I need to read. I've got 3 books that I'm currently reading. The first one is actually one that you've seen me talk about a lot just because I can't quite get through it. Shadows of Self has been a bit of a struggle. I love the Mistborn books so much. The original trilogy, the Western sort of Industrial Revolution vibe isn't quite working for me. So, you know, I'm about 100 pages in. I need to finish. I want to finish because he's one of my favorite authors. It's just not going quite as smoothly as the other Mistborn books have gone in the past. Next up, I just started last night, The Last Namasara. Apparently everyone is reading this book. It's like all over Twitter this weekend. But it's her debut novel. I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm about 40 pages in, and I read it last night until I literally, could not keep my eyes open anymore. So I'm planning on diving back into that today as kind of a cure for the Mario Kart hangover. So last but not least, I decided to pick up one of my Victober books a little bit early. So I've got Jane Eyre here. I've never read it before, as I said in my Victober recommendations in TBR. I'm losing my friend here. She's leaving me alone. Okay. I am looking forward to it. I think I attempted it in high school and didn't get very far. I think I'm actually at the point that I got to when I was in high school. So that's 14 pages in. It's not quite October yet, but whatever, who's counting? So that's it for today. I will kind of check in day to day, see how this goes, let me know what you guys think of these videos. I think it's just a nice reason to talk about books even more than I already do. So I'll see you later. I am back for day 2 of my reading vlog. I will confess that today I actually didn't get all that much reading done, and that's because we went to Stratford-upon-Avon with some of my friends. So if you don't know Stratford, you probably do. It's Shakespeare's birthplace. The whole town is like completely Shakespeare'd out, and it was really, really fun. We had a really nice time. We didn't, weirdly enough, raid the bookshops, which we didn't see until we were about to leave, and we were on kind of like a time constraint. So we're gonna go back at some point because it's not too far from where we live. However, we did raid the candy shop. There's amazing, and there's sweet shops all over the place, but the place that we went to, this awesome sweet shop that has like these boiled sweets in jars, and they were really cute, and they're actually fairly cheap. So I ended up getting 2 of these. In addition to a bunch of other stuff, which we've kind of already housed. We've only been back for a couple of hours. And then I got this, which I'm super excited about. Hopefully I'm going to be having a proper sort of room to film in instead of right next to our front door. I got this for that new little space. It's an Alice in Wonderland kind of quote print. Which is really cute. I really like this a lot. So it was a really good day, however not such a good day for reading. Last night, after I shot my video, I was going to read The Last Namasara. However, I decided I need to get through Shadows of Self. I need to do it. So I sat down and I read about, God, I think I read like 164 pages or so. Unfortunately for me, it picked up really, really quickly from the point that I was at. So I think it was about 100 pages in, and at about 1:30 it started to really kind of get itself into gear. I usually don't give books that long to kind of catch my interest. I gave this one a little bit more of a chance because I love Brandon Sanderson so much. He's one of my favorite authors. I'm really, really glad that I did. So I'm currently, God, I don't have much more to go. Maybe I'll finish that tonight. We'll see. I'm currently on page 276 out of, I think, 364. I had originally planned to read Shadows of Self and then Bands of Mourning, which would round up all of the Mistborn books for me, and then go back and reread the first one, which I'm going to be doing for my book club, which meets on the 20th. Today's the 1st. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm less bothered about finishing up Mistborn: The Final Empire, which is the first book. However, it would be nice to have it finished, so I'm going to maybe set Bands of Mourning, the 6th book, aside, and then just loop back around to the first one. So other than that, I haven't made any more progress on The Last Namasara or on Jane Eyre, but I have those both kind of in my sights for this week. I'm going to finish this off this week. I'm going to try to get Last Namasara done, because that comes out on the 14th, and I'd like to kind of have something up for the publication day, which I think is always great, especially for a debut author, and so we'll see how that goes. I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow. It is Tuesday, it's the 3rd of October. I'm actually about to head to work, but I thought that I would update you guys really quickly on my reading progress. So last night I finished Shadows of Self, which, as you may know, I have been working on for a very long time. I ended up really liking the ending. I think that the last sort of third of the book was really what the rest of the book should have been. There's kind of a reveal that happens, there's a lot more action and brings in a lot of kind of the concepts from the original Mistborn books. But those come in the last third of the book, so the first 2/3 I was a little bit like, maybe this isn't really for me. But I ended up really liking it. I'm struggling with a star rating right now because a really great ending doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 4-star book, so we'll see how that goes. I decided I'm already going to break my rules for the month for my TBR, and I picked up Bands of Mourning last night, which is the 6th book in the Mistborn series. I just kind of want to get them done, and I'm hoping that the momentum that he creates at the end of the 5th book will carry on to the 6th, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not neglecting Jane Eyre or The Last Nemasara. In fact, I think I'm going to bring Jane Eyre to work with me today and read it on my lunch break. But yeah, no, I got really excited about this book, and I haven't been excited about these books for a while just because I don't like the world nearly as much as the original trilogy. So I'm going to ride that excitement and finish them up, so we'll see how that goes. But I will check in with you guys later today. It is Wednesday, so I realized that yesterday I filmed in the morning and then I kind of left you guys hanging to say that I was going to be checking in later that afternoon. I did. I filmed some stuff. There's a couple of very exciting things that happened. First of all, I had some book mail, so I had very poorly unwrapped that with one hand. I also was slightly frantic because my kitchen flooded. It was completely my fault. I left the door of the washing machine, it's one of the front closing ones. It was open just ever so slightly. Something got stuck in it when I set it up for the morning. So that was fun. So I was in kind of a rush yesterday, and just what I shot wasn't any good. So I'm going to show you the book post that I got, and I'll tell you about my reading progress. So I got 2 packages in the mail yesterday. One was actually one that I was expecting. It was a book that I had ordered, and that's The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. I've been looking for this for ages, but for some reason the 2 giant bookshops near me just haven't had it. I've looked a couple of times, so I usually never buy books online. I usually only buy them from the bookshop, and if I can't find something, then I can't find it. It usually shows up at some point in one of the shops. But I was really desperate to get this, so I ended up ordering it, and I'm pretty glad. I ordered it from Blackwell's, which makes me feel slightly better than ordering it from Amazon, but you know, that's all good. But no, this looks really good. I'm really looking forward to it. Next was my unexpected book mail. So this is actually a proof, and I had requested it, but I didn't hear back, so I didn't know if I was going to be getting it or not. And so that's Zenith. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard a lot of good things about it. There were proofs available at Yelp. However, I just missed out. They ran out just as I was kind of fighting my way to the front. So I'm really glad that I ended up getting a copy of this. It's not out until January of next year. However, I think I'm going to be hopping on this really soon. So in terms of actual reading progress, I've done a little bit. I'm steadily chugging away at Bands of Mourning. I'm on page 122 right now. Exciting things are going down. So I'll need to do some things like editing and stuff, but then I would really like to sit down with this because I need to pick up the pace with my reading anyway. So in terms of Victober, I have finally gotten going on Jane Eyre. I am 40 pages in. Yes, 40 pages. Things are starting to sort of pick up and get going. She's just been told that she's going to be going to this school, which sounds completely awful, and if memory serves, is completely awful. I can't remember if I got to this point or not in the book when I tried to read it back in high school. It was a long time ago. But I have seen the movie, and boarding school bad. So this is one that I think I've been bringing it to work with me to read at lunchtime, but I think that it's one that maybe this weekend I'm going to need to just sit down, cup of tea, duvet, and then just not move and read it for the entire weekend. I tend to read Victorian novels much slower. The language is just so different, and quite frankly I've been reading a lot of young adult books lately, which just feel like going and just finishing them up really fast. So this is a little bit of a literal change of pace. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to have it done soon because I would like to keep moving along with Victober, and I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Guys, here's a precious moment. Dax is usually very camera shy, also quite people shy. She doesn't really like people touching her or picking her up. Oh, who's a cute girl? She's a happy girl. Usually Daxie doesn't like to, be pet, especially for this long. She's not the friendliest little cat in the world. However, sometimes she decides that you are the perfect place for her to sit. So this is an extremely happy moment. It also means that I cannot move until she decides to go away. So it's actually Friday night instead of Thursday. I ended up actually skipping yesterday's reading vlog because I went straight from work to dinner with a friend, and then we went to go see Margaret Atwood at the Sheldonian Theatre, which was very, very cool. But it ended up being a bit of a long night. I didn't get much reading done, so I felt like, other than fangirling about Margaret Atwood, which actually probably would have made a good entry, I figured that I would just kind of leave it until today. So today I'm going to be wrapping up my very first reading vlog. I didn't read as many books as I had wanted to. I read 2, which is great, but the amount of time that I spent reading, I felt like if they were other books, I could have read more. However, the combined page count was about 830 something pages, so that's pretty impressive. That's quite a sizable amount, so I'm feeling pretty good about what I ended up reading. So I actually broke my own rule that I implemented for myself in high school after trying to read all 3 Lord of the Rings books back to back in about 3 days, which was a really bad idea. I ended up reading and loving the first one, sort of reading but not absorbing any of the second one, and then just put down the third one for about 12 years. So ever since then, I really just haven't wanted to read books back to back, either whether they're in a series or they're by, the same author. But I ended up breaking that rule because it's Brandon Sanderson. The way that he ends his books, I think it's really hard to not pick up the next one immediately and dive back in. So I finished Shadows of Self, which is Mistborn 5, and Bands of Mourning, which is Mistborn 6. And they both have kind of really good, not twists, but reveals at the end of them, which is something that I think he really excels at. I deviated slightly from my TBR because Bands of Mourning was not on my TBR for this month, although it was for last month. However, I feel okay about it because they've been sitting on my shelf for seriously over a year, and I've been meaning to read them, and now they're out of the way, and I'm really glad that I ended up reading those. I managed to break my TBR again because I picked up, this is the Arcanum Unbound, so this is short stories and novellas from all of Brandon Sanderson's various series and works and universes. I started reading, which I'm currently reading, Mistborn: A Secret History, and I was told by a friend in my book club that, I must read this after I finish Bands of Mourning, and he was completely right, and I'm only a few pages in right now, but I'm really, really glad that I ended up picking this up. I think it's going to be super, super fun. So other than that, my current reads are still, of course, I've been talking about them all week, The Last Namasara and Jane Eyre. I'm going to be getting to these guys this weekend, so never fear. They just kind of got sidelined for Brandon Sanderson. I'm really looking forward to The Last Namasara in particular. I actually picked up tickets for an event with her, Alwyn Hamilton, Melinda Salisbury, and another author I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're going to be at the Islington Library on November 2nd. So if any of you guys are going to be there, let me know. I'm going to be dragging along my fiance, my sister, and possibly another person. But no, I think that this is going to be a really good weekend for reading. I plan to really get tucked into particularly The Last Namasara this weekend. I feel like it's one of those books where I will read it really, really quickly once I kind of get stuck into it, but I need to really get going. I'm 40 pages in and I just haven't made much progress since I first started. But when I did first start, I absolutely loved it. I was loving everything about it. I know that I need to really get going on Jane Eyre because it is a Victorian novel. It's going to take me longer to read that than some of these other books. And I am really, really enjoying it, but I just know that I need to slow down a little bit, and I do have reading goals for Victober that I would like to achieve. So that concludes my very first reading vlog. Let me know what you think of this, if you want me to do more, if you want them to be slightly more exciting. I don't really know what I'm doing right now, but if you have any kind of tips, if you do reading vlogs as well, if you've read any of these books and enjoyed them, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to chat about them a little bit more, and I'll see you next week.